The horror of haircuts. See, I've never had a bad haircut in my life because the people that I go to actually know what they're doing. However, I've seen horrific haircuts on the internet. This is by clumzzii. Anyways, we're gonna look at this. I'm curious. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Let's see.
I feel like all of us have gone through the same stages of getting a haircut. The first stage consists of one of your parents taking you to a random barber, and they also choose your haircut for you. Some common cuts that I had and saw growing up were like different variations of buzz cuts.
Yeah, I never had bowl cuts. Never. I would never in my life get a bowl cut. Like, who wants to look like Will Byers?
Cuts, or just any cut where it was short on the sides and a bit longer on the top.
Yeah, it's like the classic thing, right? Like short on the sides, then on the top a little more. That's about it though. That's like what I've always ran with. I never got a buzz cut or like wanting to look like Will Byers. My haircut pretty bad. What is barber? Those are essentially the guy specific cutting hair specifically for men. That's a barber. They'd also do beards.
Types of cuts, I had them from when I popped out the womb until I was like around 10 or 11 years old. Once you reach like grade 5 or 6, that's when people started to choose different types of haircuts of their own. You got the infamous side part or bowl cut.
The bowl cut still side part. Nah, never had that. Never had that. I really just rocked the same thing over and over because it looked fine. Sometimes there's also often times where I very much just rock longer hair, like right now. It's like decently long, right? If I wait a little longer, it's gonna be shoulder long, which is kind of crazy. But it works really well with like the way I look. So I'm pretty happy about that.
For Asians, the high talk or just short hair for black
Why would you do that?
people, and the crew cut or bowl cut.
Yeah. Yeah. The crew cut, I would say that, yeah, that appears often. Bowl cut, I would, yeah, decently enough, but
Again, for white people. Once you get around to the start of high school, that's when I feel like most people evolve from the side parts, bowl cuts, high tops, like those type of haircuts, to even better or sometimes even worse haircuts. The Asians would start getting perms and 16 guards, the Hispanics would start to get Edgars, the black
Why would you do that to yourself? Like the Edgars? Why would you do that to yourself? That looks horrible. That looks absolutely horrible.
kids would start to experiment with locks and braids, and white kids would get either mullets or the
Mullets? Mullets. Yeah, actually, now that he mentions it, I at least know one dude that had a mullet.
infamous fluffy hair or ice cream hair. And from this stage going onward, there might
Or what's really common, he didn't mention that at all, is the broccoli head, right? They just look like a walking broccoli.
be a sudden urge to just buzz all of your shit off and start a new arc, but it might just end up leaving you looking chopped as fuck. And if you don't end up getting a buzz cut, you
Diabolical. straight out of the Stranger Things.
have probably found a haircut that suits you, and you probably have a good go-to barber that will not cook your shit. Throughout all the stages of getting a haircut, there has been at least one time where you ask specifically for some type of fade on the sides and a little bit off the top, and the barber just fucks your shit up. There was this
I've never had this issue. My hair looked always fine. I never had this issue where like somebody just like. Also, it's kind of like if my hair would look bad, like I wouldn't give much of a shit, bro. It's hair, it regrows.
one time in 2021 where my hair was probably the longest it's ever been, and if you know, during 2020 to 2021 it was very difficult to get a cut because we were all stuck inside, bruh. After like a week or two of school opening back up, my hair was still hella long and I was desperate for a cut. So on a Saturday morning,
That's the thing, right? I can rock long hair. Other people can't. Other people can, but I can rock BG the Staying Alive looking hair. I could do that.
Checked if the barber that I usually went to was available, and to my surprise, he was not. And I forgot to mention this earlier, not only was my hair long as hell, getting into my eyes and shit, but I also had a perm. Yeah bro, I really saw those straight hair to perm transformations on TikTok, and I really thought I could start pulling more girls after I got a perm. And if you have gotten a perm before, it grows out in like the worst way possible, because your hair is gonna be wavy or
broccoli. It's just broccoli. You just look like a broccoli. Sorry.
curly at the ends, but straight at the roots. So you just look like a mushroom or just like the head of a dick. So yeah bruh, I needed a cut desperately. I searched up barbers near me on Google Maps, and I ended up finding one at the mall close to my house. And without checking any of the reviews, I went to the mall and pulled up to the barber shop. One thing I noticed about this spot that started giving me bad vibes was that a majority of the customers and the workers at the shop were women.
So let me finish. Red flag. Sexist. Misogyny. Yeah. I don't have that issue. I go to the same person over and over and over again. I get the same good results over and over again, so I can't complain.
And most of them weren't even getting haircuts, they were getting like some type of dye or hair treatment. When I saw this, I was like, bruh, I'm not trying to be sexist or nothing, but you know what I mean? Like the odds of them knowing how to do a mid blowout taper with a textured fringe would be pretty low. And amongst the female workers, there was this old dude working there at the very back of the shop. And I saw him cutting this little white kid's hair. And once the kid's cut was finished, he had like a crew cut but with like a flat ass fringe. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, GG's, he's fucking my shit up for show.
Suffer. Yeah. What was the worst experience? I never really had any bad experiences. Maybe some rude people, but overall my hair came out pretty fine most of the time. And then again, if it was bad, I don't give a shit. It's just hair.
And after that, he then called me over. Looking back now, I should have just trusted my gut and just walked right out the store. But at the same time, I was insanely desperate to get my hair out of my eyes and just get it cut shorter, bro. I walked over and took a seat in front of one of the mirrors, and he asked me what haircut I wanted. And of course, I hit him with the classic, just a mid fades on the sides and back and just a small trim on the top. Throughout the duration of the cut, there were several signs that this barber had no idea what the fuck he was doing. Even when I was communicating to him about what cut I wanted, it sounded like he barely knew English. And when he started working on the fade, the clippers felt hot as fuck. Like it felt like I was getting burned, bro. And the motion he was doing with the clippers while he was doing the fade just didn't feel right either. During the fade, he would also blow hard as fuck on my face to get rid of some excess hair or some. I don't know. It was the first time I experienced.
You got yourself into this situation. I'm gonna be real. Oh God, Lord have mercy that my barber never closes. Because if he does, it's so over. It actually is so over.
That. And when he started cutting the top, he ran his fingers through my hair, pulled it up, and he cut like way more than half of it off. After this moment, I just accepted my fate, bro. By the time the old guy finished the cut, he asked me if it was good, and I said, yeah, good, yep, nice. I'ma try.
Always lying, I get that.
Find some pictures that somewhat resembled my cut, but I pretty much had like a short ass fringe swayed to the side with the fade on one side being
yikes, that's painful.
Higher than the fade on the other side, and there was also no fade at all on the back. Like I looked hideous, bruh. I remember going home after the cut and my mom's reaction to it was like, wow, your haircut is so good, you look so good. And bruh, if your mom or
when your moms or cannot be objective. Moms cannot be objective. Sorry, mama. But when you say I look good, I'm gonna get all the girls. You know for sure you're not getting girls. Sorry, mama. It's just the truth.
Grandma or just any person that's over the age of 40 tells you that your haircut looks good, what that actually means is that your shit is cooked and you should probably get a buzz, bruh. I remember going to the mirror in the bathroom and I started tearing up because of how ass my cut was, bro. 2 days later on Monday, it was time to pull up to school with my chopped ass haircut. And you already know, people were like, bro, what happened? Who did this to you? Why'd you cut off the perm?
Peak deserved. Yeah, this can happen. This can happen. Yeah, I think I've experienced this, not like on me, but like other people, right? Right? Crazy.
Like your cut, G? And I was getting roasted pretty much, but it was by the homies though, so it was all good. After a long day of feeling chopped as hell at school, I hopped on the school bus to get back home. The school bus I would take would travel on the same road for like the entirety of the trip, and I lived like 35 minutes away. And around the halfway point of the trip, the bus would stop at this other high school to pick up more students. Usually when the bus would stop at the high school, I would turn the music in my earphones all the way up because the students that would hop on the bus were usually loud and ratchet as hell. Once all the students were on the bus, and after a couple minutes of driving, there was this girl with red hair sitting like maybe 5 or 6 seats in front of me, and she looked back at me as well. I took a quick glance at her and I didn't really think anything.
She probably felt offended because you looked at her, because you looked chopped as hell. That's the only reality. That's the cold, harsh reality. A haircut can actually make or break you. It's crazy. Because like a haircut, see, there's like bad haircuts that's just done unprofessionally, but there's also haircuts that aren't done professionally. They just don't suit your face. And since they don't suit your face, you still look chopped as hell.
Of it, but I did feel her staring at me, or at least just looking in my general direction. Even though I noticed this, I just looked out the window, zoned out, just listening to my music at full volume. And it was 2021, bruh, so I might have had some of that Prime Cash Dami, Sofago, SSG Kobe blasting at full volume in my ear. Usually when I'm one stop away from my bus stop, I would always remove my earphones and put them back in my bag. But when I took them off this time, there was a group of guys sitting across from me, and one of them was like, yo, yo, bro.
You used Jack Doherty as the villain. Cool.
Are you good? Like, they sounded concerned, but they were low-key laughing at the same time. And to this, I was like, yeah, bro, why? And the guy said, bro, that chick was saying some crazy shit about you. And I was like, I don't know, bro, I was just listening to my music. And from there, I just hopped off the bus and started walking home. And now that I think of it, that was like the first and only time in my whole life where I genuinely got bullied. Like, I don't even know what she said, but apparently she said some crazy ass shit, most likely about my haircut or just—
Here's the see, probably she called you creep, something like that, probably, or something really mean. You're never gonna figure out. No point in dwelling on it. But yeah, that happens.
Just like my whole appearance. Because when I had my perm or just any other regular cut, that shit has never happened to me before, bro. And to top it off, it wasn't even kids from my own school. When I arrived home, I hopped on Google and I gave and wrote a 1-star review to that very barbershop or salon.
Bro really gave them a 1-star review. I wish you could go lower, like literally 0 stars or half a star. Why just 1 star? Just go even lower. The rating should be go from 0 to 5, or like whatever max number you want to use. Not from like 1 to 5 or like 1 to 10 or whatever.
Or whatever it was. I remember I wrote something along the lines of that old worker with the mustache and glasses and— ooh, bruh, I said the race of the guy as well. Like, I was describing him in full detail. So after I gave the description of what he looks like, I said he needs to be fired immediately because he gave me the worst haircut of my life that caused me to get bullied. And from that day onwards, I never cheated on my barber again, and I always checked the Google reviews of any establishment before I end up going to it. Getting a horrible cut is a canon event for every guy. Like, every guy—
I've never had this. That's also because I don't get haircuts that often. Because right, I can rock long hair. That's not a real issue.
it has to experience something like this at least once before they evolve into a full-grown man. And since this video was about haircuts, I will be giving myself a buzz cut at 100k if we even ever end up hitting it, and I will let you guys choose a hair dye color of your choice as well. Peace.
Yeah, you're gonna get full-blown neon pink. I don't care. Full-blown neon pink. Regardless, check the reviews. Get a proper cut, or you will look chopped. Not just a bad cut, but a cut that fits your face. Otherwise, the redhead ladies will not like you. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.